Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the O Show podcast, episode 394, presented by Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Scottsdale, Arizona, coming to a gym near you in just a number of weeks. Get your membership now. Mayweather Boxing and Fitness offers an authentic experience for those who want to learn from Floyd Money Mayweather's techniques and training regimens. Again, open in a few weeks. They put in all the new gear here over the past number of weeks in Scottsdale. Get your membership now. We're also sponsored by BetOnline.ag. Sign up for a 50% bonus. BetOnline.ag, your number one sportsbook marketing platform. BetOnline.ag. Our guest today on episode 394 is a professional musician. You might recognize him as the keyboardist of the American rock Christian rock band Needtobreathe. Josh, again, for the 1,000th time, thanks for putting up with my shenanigans over the past few weeks. We've been trying to schedule this for I don't know how many months at this point, but again, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. I'm glad we worked it out.
You're in Knoxville. I'm in Phoenix. You guys aren't on tour right now, correct? You're kind of just laying low.
We're not. We start tour September 1st, I believe. So we've got to head into rehearsals and hit the road.
Is it a North American tour? You guys will be here?
It is. Yeah. We're doing 30. I think it's 38 cities.
Nice.
So it should be a lot of fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun. You guys came out with 2 new records this year? I know you just came out with the one a few months ago.
Yeah, so we released a record called Out of Body last year. And then we, since we couldn't tour that record, we all went into quarantine and made another record. And so we released 2 studio albums, and then we also did a live record from a couple of socially distant shows earlier in the year. So we've actually technically put out 3 records since the fans have seen us in concert. So it's a lot of material. We're pumped to get back out there, though.
And you guys put out one of those live EPs, too, like right when you guys got back in, what was it, like April or May? You put out a live album?
Yeah. So that was, it's been insane. I feel like even though we've been at home, our workload has been insane. We've just been trying to be as productive as we can and get as much music to fans as we can. And it's actually been a really good season, though. It's been fun to think differently and work differently. We're super excited to finally get in front of people again. It's been way too long.
I mean, putting out 2 records in this time frame where like you really couldn't see each other and at the same time couldn't go on tour with any of it. Like, did you guys adapt easy to making music that way?
Yeah, our band always takes a long time to make records. I think the last studio album we put out was 4 years before Out of Body. So it's been a long time since we had done any new music. We put out some EPs and stuff, but to put out a new studio record, that took us a while to get it done, and then to double down and do another one was pretty crazy. But I do feel like we are adapting to what this new phase of our band looks like, and trying to take advantage of time at home, and also when we're on the road work even harder so that we can have more time at home. And I think it's just I feel like it's a little bit of a grown man, trying to figure out like how to do life better. Or more efficiently. So I think we're figuring it out.
Yeah, you're a dad now, right, too?
I am. I got two little ones at home. So
you got to figure everything out. You got to figure out, tour schedule, how to balance that.
Yeah.
How to continue to go to baseball games. There you go.
There he is. Yeah, that's my oldest, who's now 7, which is crazy. So that's at Red Rocks. I got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. My 4-year-old, it's funny, like she's still kind of figuring out what I do, because, COVID hit, and, she was a little over 2. So she's now like not completely sure what it is I actually do for a living. So she hasn't seen me tour. So it's pretty crazy. She'll get to come out to some shows and see what Daddy really does, not just sit around in sweatpants all the time.
Yeah, seriously, it's going to be a completely different look. Like, Dad's famous.
Oh,
holy
yeah.
crap.
Well, yeah, or maybe she'll be proud of me for other things instead of just being at home, and which is good too. But
yeah, you're a father. right?
Yeah. Yeah,
You're at
man.
home, and when you're not, you're being a rock star.
Yeah.
So you got to
Yeah,
love and respect both sides.
it is. It's a balancing act for sure. But I feel like we're all, a lot of us have kids now, so I think we're figuring it out how to balance it better. We've been, this is my 10th year with Needtobreathe, and I mean
Yeah.
we've toured a ton in that time. So definitely figuring out how to balance it better and be more present when I'm here, and also present on the road when I'm working hard out there. So it's been good though. I think we're figuring things out.
I mean, the thing I love most about Need to Breathe is kind of the diversity of, messages. Obviously, like a strong message, whether it be like rock music, the 2017 record you guys came out with, like kind of had pop feels to it, and that was great. And then the two records you came out with this year, like coming out with two records in 1 year, I know you guys had the time, but like you said, it was nearly 4 years since the last record you put out in 2017 or 2016. What's the inspiration behind these two records? Are they different from one another? Why now? Why 2021?
Yeah, I think that Out of Body was, came out of an overflow of probably some of those the 4 years since the last record. There was a couple of those songs that we'd had in our back pocket for a little while, and but we knew that it was time to put it out. It's one of those things where you can be really precious with something, and you're like, I don't think it's ready. I don't think it's ready. And then you look at the clock, and 4 years has gone by. So a lot of it was the pressure of like, we got to do this. Let's put it out. And then Into the Mystery, was really it's kind of a sister record in some ways to Out of Body. But it was never intended to be pushed out as quickly as it was. It was also an overflow out of a really, I feel like pretty, prolific and creative season for all of us, but especially Bear. He wrote a ton of songs during the early days of COVID. And so I think we're like, well, man, we should just put this out now and be reactive to where we're at. And I think that is why I feel like some people have said we see things and people say like, oh, you rushed another record out after Out of Body. Really and truly, it's actually probably more the opposite. We feel like we rushed Out of Body to kind of get that out of our system. As much as we're super proud of that, Into the Mystery feels more like who the band is right now. And so we're super, super excited to finally play these songs on the road and also celebrate Out of Body for what it is as well. So there's a lot of music for sure to try to figure out how to make it out there.
And Bear is doing a lot of single stuff too, right?
Yeah. So he did a solo project a couple years ago, and also has just been he moved to Nashville, and so he's been writing a ton and guesting on records, and we just want to be involved in the music community in Nashville and just in the industry in general. I feel like I can say this about him because it's not him saying it. I feel like he's got one of the best voices in music right now, and maybe ever. And it's a rock singer. He is the epitome of a lead singer, and so I'm excited that the world's kind of hearing him sing on other people's records, and also just like as we continue to push Needtobreathe down the path, that people are finding out about the band for the first time, which is it's pretty cool to to be a band for over 20 years and people are still like, oh, who's this new band called Needtobreathe? We're like, well, thank you for making us feel young, but we've been around the block for a little while. So
I remember, I think it was "Keep Your Eyes Open" was the first song I ever heard from you guys 6-7 years ago. Whenever I heard it first, and I'm like,
yeah.
Bear Rhinehart is like, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is my opinion, I'm interested to get your opinion, he's kind of like a lighter pitched Eddie Vedder.
Yeah, I could totally get that.
Like,
yeah,
I would love to see them collab for just like one song.
I would too. It's funny. We're all big Pearl Jam fans. He especially is. And I remember we were in the studio a couple of years ago making a record, and the producer just could not stand Pearl Jam. Just hated Pearl Jam. And we were like, oh man, you don't like Eddie? Like, you don't like his voice? Like, no, I hate it. And we were all just like, we can't trust this guy. So we were like, we're never work with you again. We love Pearl Jam. I've always wanted to have them sing together. I think it'd be pretty
I
awesome.
think it would be amazing. Like, and I'm with you, kind of like, I'm 22 years old, so Pearl Jam's like when my dad was my age, right? So every time I
Yeah,
heard Eddie Vedder's voice growing up, I immediately thought of like my dad and my uncle flipping burgers in
yeah,
like the backyard, because I'm like, oh, that's something my dad would listen to. That's dad music right there. And it took me till
yeah,
like the last 2 or 3 years to really like appreciate that whole grunge era and Soundgarden and Nirvana and all
totally.
that. I'm like, holy crap, like this is great
Yeah,
music. And I no
yeah,
longer think of my dad when I hear Eddie Vedder's voice, which is great. That's the most important thing.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to all kinds of different music. So, my parents were, I won't say they were super strict, but they were definitely a little bit strict. So I could only listen to certain kinds of
Oh,
music.
really?
I listened to some top 40 radio, but not a ton of it. But like literally I feel like when I got out of high school and I started playing in bands, I started like figuring out a lot of these bands that, that had been popular, like Pearl Jam, and been like, oh wow, like I'm figuring out a lot of these bands for the first time, which is pretty awesome to think about, like being 18, 19 and hearing Pearl Jam for the first time, being like, whoa, I've never heard anything like this, and
Oh
then
my God,
starting the
yeah.
journey with like mature ears, which is kind of cool. So I feel like that was my story. Like somebody asked me to be in a Black Crowes cover band in high school, and I said no because I don't like metal music. And of course, the Black Crowes are like the most
Yeah.
southern, like swampy rock band, and some great piano playing. I would have killed to be in that band now,
Oh, yeah.
but I didn't know.
Wow. So, like on that note, have you guys written anything or tried to come up with anything that would not necessarily be out of your comfort zone, but like out of the realm of things that you guys have put out in the past decade or so? Because again, being a Christian rock band, like your guys' message is crystal clear, I think, to your audience. Is there ever going to be a time where you kind of drift somewhere else, or is it always going to be that message surrounding Christianity?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I feel like people that have followed our band for a while, like on our Facebook and stuff, that question comes up all the time. About our label and like, are we this, are we that, are we a Christian band, are we
Yeah.
this, and it's so funny. We did a Rolling Stone interview a couple of years ago where we just said flat out, like, we are not a Christian band. Like
Mm,
a lot of us, and not even all of us, connect to the Christian story, and that's a part of our like personal lives. But it's never been like our goal in music to be like a Christian band. I mean, we have a lot of friends in Christian music, and what they do, and their mindset is totally different from what we do. So it is hard sometimes because we get kind of not pigeonholed into a Christian band. We appreciate it both sides. We appreciate it if you listen to us, if you heard our song on Christian radio, or if you heard our song at Coles walking through,
yeah.
you know. But I do think that for us, like we've always wanted to make honest music, and we always wanted to make stuff that like ask a bunch of questions. Like that's kind of I guess our behind the curtain a little bit is like we like to ask the questions in our songs, but don't give the answer. Like we don't feel like we have the answers, or we have nothing to teach anybody. And so a lot of our songs, we've had songs like Difference Maker and Wasteland, and they're all like question songs, but they'd never actually give you a resolution. And I feel like
Yeah.
that if I could sum up what Need to Breathe is, it is that. And if what we do inspires someone in a way that I don't know, grows their faith, or makes them feel like they're a better friend to somebody or whatever, then I feel like it's all a win. But I do think that our band's always been on the fence, in some ways. Like we definitely get some opportunities to do some pretty cool things, and to be in different worlds. And because we don't put a label on us, I think right now, I think we have a song on at Christian radio. We have a song on AAA radio, rock radio,
Hmm.
and on country radio right now. So it kind of, we just, not me. I feel like we're a rare breed in that way, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to really tell someone, like, there's Christian aspects to this. Like, if you listen to some of the lyrics in some of those songs, you're like, yeah, definitely. Like, I didn't even realize that. That kind of opened up my brain to a completely different side of this band. But at the same time, you're right. Like, you guys have, like, legit rock songs that I could just jam to any night of the week and just be like, this is a rock band. Like, I wouldn't even consider them a Christian band until you actually told me, like, yeah, there's definitely some songs. Like, I went to a Christian college. You guys were blasted every single day of the week.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, next week's our college, I just graduated, but they do like a welcome week where everybody's, coming in, everybody's following, and they just blast Need to Breathe. I remember back in 2017, that record was blasting the entire time.
Yeah, but that's cool. And that to us is we love that. I mean, and we hear a lot of people that, a lot of college kids, we feel like that's kind of a little bit of our bread and butter for our band. Like a lot of people, and that's kind of plays into the questions, just like people that are trying to figure out who they are, and our music helps them kind of along the way. So we love that. And, I think that's pretty awesome.
So when it comes to the new record, Into the Mystery, you guys did the one EP with Carrie Underwood as well. I want to remember, when you guys are writing those songs and you're looking for this one specifically, I want to remember, are you guys looking to add someone, or did it just, something felt like it was missing in that sense before you found Carrie and hooked up?
I think a little bit of that probably. We recorded the song. We recorded the whole record in a house in Columbia, Tennessee. We all quarantined for 3 weeks and made the record. And we walked out of the space after 3 weeks with the song, and she was not on it. And we actually, when we were doing a sequencing day, we were sitting around trying to sequence the record, and that song came on, and I remember somebody in the room was like, "I think we should cut this song. It's not our band. It doesn't sound like our band." And honestly, it probably doesn't, to be honest. Like there's parts of it that do sound that sound like the band, but some of it is just, it's a love song, but we felt like if we were going to put it out, we feel like it could have some legs to mean something to a lot of people, whether that's, if you're playing on your wedding day or, just like nostalgia. There's so much, like, so many people are just like searching for meaning, and it just sounds like a soundtrack to that kind of thing. So I think we just kind of just throwing out some names, and it kind of happened organically. Bear met her. He actually sang on her record. She was a fan, and we just kind of thought, well, let's just ask her, and she did it, and was awesome. And yeah, we're proud of it. Some people say like it's such a song that, like, some people are like, this is my favorite song on the record, and then some people are like, I don't like this. And then I'm like, that's kind of awesome. That's the point. Like, music is so different for everybody, and we love that part of the ride.
Yeah, me personally, that's my favorite song on the record. I'm glad you guys stuck to it. Who are some of the other names that you guys were flirting around with before you guys found Carrie Underwood?
Man, there's just some dream names. I think Bear's always wanted to sing with Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
And I'm from Knoxville, so Dollywood's like 20 minutes from my house. So like, I thought that would be pretty cool. But honestly, we kind of had some brainstorming about it, but it happened so organically with Carrie, that once it happened really quick. Like, we didn't really go out to anybody. It just kind of happened with her, which is pretty awesome. And she was a pro and came in and just crushed it.
What do you think the biggest difference is? Because obviously recording in Nashville now, I feel like, is a whole different ball game. Like, it's now like the epicenter for you guys to record stuff, collaborate with other musicians since they're all down there, as opposed to the past 10 years being all over the place.
Yeah, I think for us, it's definitely helped. A lot of our even just the simple things, like we're in the studio and somebody's like, man, what would be awesome is a mandolin on this song. You just, like, there's 20 people all around the corner. They're like, yeah, I'll bring it by. So, like, connecting with people and networking, and it's been really good. And I think for all of us too, like, I've lived in Tennessee my whole life, about 2 hours from Nashville. So I'm in and out there all the time. But the guys that are like in Nashville proper, I think for them too, just like for their wives and kids to have other wives and kids that kind of do a similar thing, it's been really fun, and helpful. People see us, go out and play shows, but they don't see our families sitting at home, doing life without us. And I think so to have some people that kind of know that game and that thing is pretty helpful to be in town. We didn't have that before for sure. So that's a big win for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's a community. You can go to Nashville Stars games with people. Now, we were talking a
Yeah,
little bit before. You're a big baseball guy, right?
huge baseball guy.
There you
I
go.
wish Tennessee. There we are. Yeah, well, I actually a massive Braves fan. That's my dad. My dad has been a Braves fan forever. Saw Hank Aaron hit his 700th home run,
Wow.
and named me after. I'm actually Joshua Aaron after Hank Aaron, and
No way.
My son's name is Henry. So the Braves are a big deal. That was a picture of me and my dad. I took him to the World Series. We got a buddy who pitched him for the Giants that year, and
Oh,
so we were
really?
able to go and do that, which is pretty awesome. So
That's
um,
crazy.
yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, there's me and my buddy Dylan. That was just like a couple months ago. We went to a Devil Rays game. I've been trying to cross off as many stadiums as I can.
Hmm.
A couple of us have been trying to do that, so I got a couple more to go. But I feel like I've definitely done Arizona a couple times.
Yeah.
Diamondbacks. I've all been around the block. So
Yeah, that was my first ever bucket list thing as a kid. Go to all 30 MLB ballparks. I'm at like 22 or 23 now.
oh yeah, what do you got left?
Not
Do you know?
anything like insanely interesting, like Safeco in Seattle. I think they renamed
Yeah,
that, but Mariners, Busch Stadium in St. Louis, I got to go to. Houston,
yeah,
I got to go to. Minute Maid Park would be a cool one.
yeah,
Um, like Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Cleveland. Mainly
yeah,
the central teams. I
yeah.
got to go to. I've
I'm
covered the
I'm
West, covered the
I'm
East.
yeah, I'm missing like I haven't done a Brewers game, I haven't done a Reds game, which
Yeah,
Reds are like 3 hours from me, so I should just
I
cross that
know it's
off. But
crazy.
yeah, so but it's fun and it's definitely something to do. I mean, like a lot of times we'll go games will start at 7 and we'll play it, we'll play our show at like 9. So if we're in
Yeah,
town, we'll go first 5 innings or something and then bail. But it's something to do. It's fun.
you could even do a tour like during the afternoon. They have a ton of those tours. I don't know if they're doing them right now, but I know before
Yeah,
COVID, like night game, they do like
yeah,
10 in the morning, do like a 1 hour tour, go on the field and stuff. I'd
yeah,
say the Braves' new ballpark is one of my favorites with everything that they got going
yeah.
on. It's almost
Oh,
like
it's
an
awesome.
amusement park in the background. You got the
No,
chop
totally.
room. It's very
Yeah,
nice. What's it
it's
called?
killer.
It used to be Trust
True.
Park.
It's Truist Park now, I
Truist
believe.
Park.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, what? Now I can't think of it. I mean, of course, I went to all. I mean, Atlanta, Fulton County, and Turner
Yeah.
Field, and then, so I've been to all. Truist. We actually played a show. One of the first like after the game concerts
Yeah.
where we played, and so we got jerseys. That was actually for that picture from. We got jerseys, and we went on the field, and yeah, as a Braves fan, pretty stoked. We actually one time, which is pretty cool, we played in Boston, and Zach Brown band was playing Fenway the same night. We were just down the road, and we're buddies with those guys, and so we were like, "Hey, can we come say hey?" So we went and we said hey, and and then we were like, "All right, well, we'll see you guys." We're walking out Fenway, and then we looked at each other and like, let's run on the field. So I've got like pictures of us like running the bases
No
at
way.
Fenway and like sitting on top of the dugout. Like nobody's out there. Like
Right.
we could yeah, we could have done anything. But it's pretty awesome. Some great pictures, great
Yeah,
memories.
it's
So
funny. They give you seats like there's definitely a section like right behind home plate where you can sit for those shows, but then they cut off the field because it's still in season. They have
yeah,
to maintain the field, and then the
yeah,
outfield is where all the main like mosh pit seating area is. But they have
yeah,
seats behind there, and then there's some fans out there watching the show, and they probably see you guys running around. They're like, "Who the hell are these
totally.
guys?"
Yeah, I know. Well, we thought. I mean, like, it's just such a cool thing. I mean, like, it's funny. Like, of course, most of us are sports fans, but it's funny. When we go to these games and stuff, all these sports like athletes and stuff, they're all music fans. So they're just like, they look at us and they're like, "Oh man, this is so cool," and we're just like, bro, we're just super glad that you let us come and give us tickets. So
Yeah,
we always like we meet people all the time, and that's we always kind of kid that's like collecting baseball cards or football cards. Like we collect baseball friends. So
yeah.
like we're like, let's get this guy. Oh man, like we can go to see a game at so and so, and we it's just super fun. I mean, for us to that's a perk of the job. My son too. He's big into baseball. He's got to come to some games and stuff, which is it's just awesome.
I was gonna say, like, those are the formative years. You said he was 7 years old. I remember like
Yeah.
8 through 12. Like that's when it hit me. Like, oh, I want to be in sports media or like doing a talk show like this. Like that's when it like hit me. Going to all
Yeah.
those stadiums. What was your
Yeah.
favorite ballpark that you've been to so far? I gotta say,
I,
Fenway and Wrigley are up there as my first two.
I was gonna say Fenway or Wrigley. It's funny, like I like the ones like Wrigley where it's just like you can tell that it's been there a long time.
Exactly,
Like
like
I like the
baseball
new,
stadium.
yeah, I like the Dodger Stadium is really cool. And I even thought it's pretty run down, but the A's Oakland is pretty cool. I mean,
Hmm.
like, but it's definitely needs some love. I think
Oh
they may
yeah.
be tearing it down. I might be wrong on that, but
They've been
um,
flirting with the idea of building a new stadium, not in Oakland, maybe just outside the Bay Area for a number of years. But I don't even think they've hit ground on that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
Oakland
I
fans are
like them
definitely
all.
different.
Yeah. Well, I've always loved the jerseys. My dad used to play softball, and his jerseys were the A's. So he'd always have the green and yellow and all that. And I was just like, man, these jerseys are awesome. It's kind of like
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns, or like they just have cool looking jerseys. Like the colors are great. So definitely, probably. I mean, my son, like I'm sure he's looking at the Braves or whoever, and like. I don't know if our colors are that great, but I know he bleeds Atlanta Braves, which is pretty awesome.
You got a kick ass logo with the A for sure. Hopefully,
It
they
is
don't
cool.
change the name like they did with the Indians, the Guardians now.
Yeah,
That's no
I
good.
think yeah, it's tough. I mean, I've definitely heard that they would. I heard something about the Hammer and Hanks or something. So as
That wouldn't be
a,
bad.
I'm like, man, I'm named after him. My son's named
Yeah.
after him. If it's gonna be named something else, I could get behind that.
That's not a bad name. I'd get behind that immediately. I
Yeah,
wouldn't want it, but at the same time, like that's a better name than like the Guardians. I don't know how they came up with that one.
yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't. In some ways, I'd love to be in that boardroom to kind of figure that out, and in other ways, I'm like, just that would be. I don't know if I want to be that. Figure that one out. That's a tough one.
There was a rumor online. I grew up in New Jersey, so a huge New York Yankee fan that they were gonna change the Yankees name too,
That'd be tough.
which that would ruin baseball.
Yeah, it would. I mean, like, I'm not a Yankees fan, so they could just shut down the organization. That'd be fine with me. I'm just kidding.
That's how a lot of people feel.
Yeah, well, I don't have it's not as bad as it could be. Like, it's not like the Yankees, Red Sox, like
Yeah.
Braves. Like we played them, whatever. But it's different, National League, American League. So it's
Yeah.
okay. We're fine. Now the Mets can't do it.
Really? Well, I guess
Uh,
as a Braves fan, kind of makes sense.
yeah,
But they've been relevant for what, like 2 years out of the last 20 years or something like that?
yeah,
2015
it's
and this
true.
year?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I don't actually have too many grudges. That's what's kind of nice about like going to all the stadiums and stuff. Like, I'll always buy a baseball hat, or I'll buy a jersey, or just something that's like I just love baseball, so I don't carry too many grudges. But the Yankees, maybe we could get rid of them.
Yeah. Even going to a Yankee game, it's just like, all right, here's the stadium. There's really not much to it. Monument Park, that's about it.
Yeah,
Where like other stadiums,
yeah,
you have like cool niches about them where it's like, this is cool. Fenway's got the Green Monster, Wrigley's got the
right.
Ivy, Brewers have that slide that you can go down, like kid friendly.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's cool that you guys get to go like all over the place. Like when you're on tour, if you find time to go to these ballparks.
yeah. It's super fun. I actually have a picture somewhere of me and Ben Rector. We went to a Yankees game right after the new park was opened.
Yeah.
I mean, I never got to go to the old one, but yeah, it's nice. But I was like, man, I wish this was still the old Yankee Stadium. That'd be pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I remember faintly, like when I was 8, 9 years old, going to a few games in their final season at the old stadium, thinking it was the coolest thing. Because, like, I'm sure you
Yeah.
remember the first time you ever walked into a major league ballpark, like it was just
Oh
surreal.
yeah.
Now it kind of
Totally.
feels like I'm walking into my living room sometimes,
Oh,
even though
totally.
it's been 2 years.
Yeah. I remember going to Braves games at Atlanta Fulton County. I have very vivid memories of going. I went to one of the last games there. I guess that would have been like 96, 97. And yeah, it felt massive to me. And and still looking back, I think about all those now. Yeah, go to places and I'm just like, man, this is big, but I mean, they're all just so big.
Oh my
you know.
God, they're all turning into massive stadium. I know Allegiant Stadium, the new Raiders stadium out in Vegas, I think they're hosting a WWE event this weekend. They got obviously the Raiders in a few weeks. NFL season starts. Like they're like hotels. Like they have hotels in these stadiums.
It's insane.
So you guys being, on tour, getting to do all this stuff, is it different from when, first starting out as a young musician, probably in a ton of different bands, going from city to city, trying to make each show, trying to make money as fast as possible, and at the same time now, getting to go all over the place, meeting all of these different people, being inspired by all this different stuff. Is it better or is it just different?
I would say it's probably better. I mean, it is. Those times were sweet times. Like I remember being in a van and driving around, and I was younger, of course, so it didn't hurt my body as bad. But I just remember being in vans and eating fast food all the time, and just stopping at gas stations and loading up on candy and that. I mean, like, and that kind of stuff is really was pretty fun. But you're grinding, and there's something really special about that time for sure. But now I look at us and see, I mean, all of us have worked. I mean, I started touring in 2003. So, I looking at that and thinking it's been that long. I'm proud of I'm proud of my journey and where I'm at, and get to enjoy it now and doing it with guys that appreciate it. That's helpful when you're with people that actually are happy to be there and understand how rare it is to be in a group that after all this time is still relevant to people and still sells tickets and and makes good music. We haven't phoned it in yet, so that's exciting. So in that way, I think it definitely is better.
I mean, you guys are still authentic and still kind of buying into what you guys had originally sought out to do 10, 20 years ago, like now with that comes, media appearances, doing stuff like this, radio shows, talk shows. Like, do you appreciate that aspect to it, or does that get annoying?
I honestly do. I think it's still pretty fun. We've done a lot of different stuff over the years. We've done almost every late night show. We did Leno and Letterman and Conan and all kinds of stuff. It's still really fun to get to do all those things. It's cool to have opportunities to share your music in front of new audiences. There I am right there. Conan's one of my favorites.
He might be my favorite. Anybody who could form their hairline as their logo and market that around, I'm a fan of.
Yeah, he's the nicest guy too. Like we did his show 2 or 3 times. We actually dressed up like women for one show on Halloween. We dressed up like girls from Tennessee for one of our songs, and I'll never forget him walking over and being like, "Ooh, ladies." So I mean, it's just that kind of stuff. Like it's just really really cool. So I think I love doing that kind of stuff. I think it's fun.
I saw that picture of you and thought, like, I think that's him, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to put that one up just in case he's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like we all dressed up. I dressed up like Reba McEntire.
Yeah.
I didn't have a like. Bear was Dolly Parton. Bo was Taylor Swift. Seth was Tina Turner, and Randall was Minnie Pearl. And so all of them they're all in dresses and skirts and like going for it. And they put me in this beautiful pantsuit with like major like puffy, sleeve or shoulder pads. And I was just like, I feel great. Like this is awesome. But our parents were not as thrilled about it. They were like, what have you done? You wasted an opportunity to be on national television and dressed up like women. We're like, yep, we did. And we still get asked about it all the time.
And you guys are still together making music, which is the most important
Here we
thing.
are.
It didn't kill you guys. It didn't burn you to the ground.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever do it again, but we did survive it.
And you're still writing some of your solo stuff as well, right? You came out with a record a few years back.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do on the side.
There's one.
I do some kids music. I actually started writing songs for my kids. I wanted to record something for them to listen to while I was on tour. Just hear my voice if I was gone for a long time, that
Yeah.
they could hear it, and it just kind of grew into a kind of this lovable monster. I guess it's just kind of it's been really fun to make music for kids, for my kids and other kids and families all over the world. I had some friends sing on it, Ben Rector and Ellie Holcomb.
Yeah.
Just it's just really a joy to like invest into young kids into their home lives, and just like have I hear all the time that they're listening to it as like the soundtrack to their days. So that to me is pretty special. So I love when I get to do that.
Oh, that's really cool. That's a good dad right there. When you guys are out
Trying.
touring and, your kids don't see you from month to month. Like, what was the longest period of time when you guys were on tour that they didn't see you or you didn't see them?
I think it was like 6 weeks without actually seeing each other. I mean that's the longest that we will go, and we've only done that a couple of times. This next one is not for the faint of heart. It's pretty intense. I think it's like 8 weeks straight, where we'll get to come home a couple times here and there. So we're kind of like the old school rock and roll tours where they go out and they stay out.
Yeah.
We're not the weekend warriors. We've never been able to do that. It's hard to shift gears for us. We've always been like gear up for tour, go do it, and then come home and spend more time at home. So it is tricky to do, but I think for us it helps us to kind of we'll do these 38 shows, and then we'll be done for the rest of the year. So that'll be kind of nice to put in that on the front end.
Yeah. I mean, and every now and then, like, they'll come out. Like, we saw the picture of you and your wife and your son. I think it was at Red Rock
Yeah.
in Colorado, which I think is one of the coolest venues that you could probably play at. What's the favorite venue amongst you guys that you've played at over the years?
Yeah, I think Red Rocks is probably the easiest answer. It's just, I mean, it's incredible. And we're coming on up on the fifth time we played it, and fifth time we've sold it out. So
Wow.
it's pretty insane. I remember when we went and actually saw Wilco there, and back in 2011, and we were like, man, we want to play Red Rocks, and so we played it the next year, or maybe the year after that,
Yeah.
and it sold out. And so that to us is it's a special one. We played some great venues on this tour, playing the Greek in LA, Anthem in DC. We're playing Bridgestone in Nashville, which is insane. Our first show in that in
Yeah.
that in that room. So it's pretty wild. We're pumped about it.
So what are you most looking forward to on this new tour? Again, like, it's going to be a long stretch, but at the same time, you guys are back. Live venues are back. You're playing live shows again. What are you looking forward to most in this time period?
Yeah, I mean, definitely getting to be in front of fans and playing these new songs for people. I think that's gonna be fun. One thing you kind of forget about with all this that's happened in the last couple of years is just like how important it is to just have friends. So
Hmm.
I'm pumped about like playing a show and then getting back on the bus and maybe opening a bottle of wine and sitting around and talking about life and just where we're at. Like I said, we're dads, husbands, and we're friends, and we're just trying to navigate it all and do the best we can. So it's nice to have people around you that are kind of walking in the same world, the same shoes that you are. So I'm pumped about that part of it. I think that's something I've really missed, being at home as long as we have.
Are you guys coming to Phoenix?
I think so. If we're not coming this time, I can't remember on the dates, but that sounds like we are.
Yeah, you guys got to come out to the studio whenever you are. I'll
Yeah,
be
I
in
need to look
touch.
at look at that.
That would be awesome to
Yeah,
get you guys in here. Definitely, like, again, one of
that'd be
my
super fun.
favorite bands since, my formative years when I was 14, 15 years old, growing up in a
Yeah,
Christian household, going to a Christian school. Again, it was a very formative band, again, with your lyrics and everything that you guys have put in to making, again, like, not Christian rock music, but in the sense like Christians can get behind it and,
yeah,
be inspired by the words that you guys put out.
yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I mean, we like I said, we're honored that people take our music and listen to it, and we are actually coming to Phoenix on September 13th. So
Wow,
let's make it happen.
Dude, that's quick. That's soon.
It's like the first week of the tour.
That's a Monday, I think, if I got my...
That sounds right. Yeah, something like that. I think we play Red Rocks like right after that or right before that. So yeah, we're all kind of, that first week is going to be insane. But,
I mean, you guys are going to be going from city to city. How much time would you actually spend in Phoenix?
I think just the day. I think we have shows every day. I mean, I think we're doing like 4 days on, 1 day off or something. Like it's a pretty grueling schedule. I mean, we're making up for lost time in some ways, but it's pretty insane what we're trying to do. I think we looked at the set list, and I think we have 32 songs that we're trying to cover every night. So
oh my God, really?
It is insane. Yeah, it's a lot. We're trying to we want the fans to walk away thinking that they got their money's worth. So
do you guys ever cover Pearl Jam?
We actually have.
Yes.
It's been a while. We did Better Man a bunch. So
really,
yeah.
I can see Bear knocking that thing out of the park.
Yeah, he actually at least once a week does it in sound check. He just grabs his guitar and
she lies and says she's in love with him. Yeah, I could totally see that.
That's what he does. And it's funny, we all kind of like creep into the song, and then our sound guy's like, all right guys, stop, go get the banjo, let's check the banjo. But it's pretty fun.
Well, if we can find a time to get you guys in here on that Monday, I'm definitely going to request that.
Okay, yeah, let's see if we can make it work. If nothing else, we'd love to come out to the show. It'd be fun.
Oh, that would be amazing, man. I'd love to see it again. That's the 13th of September out here in Phoenix.
Yeah, man.
And you guys back Needtobreathe on the North American tour here in 2021. Josh, thanks so much. I want to take more time than I already have. Thanks again for bouncing around my schedule over here the past few weeks. And again, the new album, Into the Mystery, we will play that music video to end the show here on episode 394 of the podcast. It is Needtobreathe featuring Carrie Underwood. I Want to Remember. Thanks for watching, guys.